Mum's class, Sophia?
About an hour.
I thought Mum is in the class.
Might be a bit less than an hour. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Is here? Is it you, Jane, maybe? Don't know how many people are going to be doing this today. So I'm not going to wait too long. I'm going to wait 10 minutes and we'll begin. So what we need, we don't need weights. We do need blocks. Probably only one block actually. And you need something to slide your feet on the floor. So I've got these. If you have a pair of dish towels, or if you're on the carpet, then it needs to be something slippery. So use these. If you're on a tile or wooden floor, then you can use towels, dishcloths, or anything else that you can find. You can even do it in your socks. Because there's one section where we're going to do that, where we slide the feet in and out, doing pike lifts on, and I'm going to be doing them on these. However, there are some options I can offer you. But yes, I've got a nice set here for us to do. Today we're going to begin with joint health. So we really need to work into warming up and activating all the joints, working into all the joints first. That's really important. So there's various drills that we're going to be doing. We're not going to do handstands for an hour. You couldn't possibly do that. This is all the steps that it takes over the weeks to work into a really nice controlled handstand. So not just throwing ourselves up against the wall or in the middle of the room. This is all about control, body control, stability, and strength into the movement. So I'm going to wait 1 more minute and then we can begin. So make sure you have those bits of equipment. You don't need shoes on. You can have socks on if you wanted. That would work for the Pike Sliders on a slippery floor. So have a towel, have a little bit of water to sip, but don't drink too much, but just sip. You can sip water every now and then. I'm going to just quickly share this link into the group, just in case anybody wants to join. Hopefully we're going to have a few takers. Cool. So I think that's you, Jane, with me at the moment. I'm guessing some people might do this a little bit later at a different time. But my body is still benefiting from the exercise we did and finished half an hour ago. So we're just building on top of that, really. So let's just share this YouTube link quickly, just in case anybody needs it. Lesson 1. Here we go. Handstands. Who would have thought? Handstand practice. So this is something I really enjoy. I am not a gymnast or a dancer, so I'm learning these things with you. I've done a few handstand practices and classes before, so I'm just bringing together all of my experience in doing those. So over the weeks, we need to do this consistently to really benefit. So this is lesson 1. What I would advise you to do is to replay this lesson 3 times over this week. So do it today and try to do it 2 more times, because this is progressive. And in order to progress, we need to work on these drills. And these drills will definitely help you move into a more controlled handstand against the wall, maybe even a little bit of one into the middle of the room. So the room, make sure your space is clear and it's safe. Use the wall for the section where we do the kick-ups. We are going to do a few kick-ups. If you feel more comfortable having the wall there just as mental kind of backup, then have the wall, but make sure the wall is clear and it's safe. Really important. So let's begin. So starting with our essential joint health warm-ups. So we're going to begin on all fours. So imagine you're about to take a press up or downward dog. So you spread your fingers wide, pointer finger or middle finger pointing to the top of your mat. So we have our shoulders over our wrists. We're just going to start rocking forwards and backwards. Now with all exercises, always engage your abdominals, making sure that you have a nice supported lower back. Because if I was just doing this is like too floppy. We don't want floppy. We want strong control. So just moving a little bit further backwards and forwards. What we're trying to do is work into our wrist joints. Adding a little pressure, a little bit of weight incrementally. So if you think about it, we are going to be going upside down. And these things are going to have to work like our hands. Now, like our feet. So just take another 2 or 3 of these backwards and forwards. So you're kind of pushing your weight into your hands, into the heels of the hands. And the next thing we're going to do. So imagine your hands facing north, south, east, west. You're going to work your hands through like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. What you're going to do is you're going to step your hands in and around the clock. So you're going to push your weight, alternate the weight into the hands. So you can start to feel what it's like to push into the hands. Once you start to get awareness of movement and pushing into the hands. So I'm just rotating my hands 90 degrees. So I'm working around a 360. Let's just do a few more rounds of those. I'm keeping my core engaged, switched on, supporting my lower back. Okay, that's that one. Next action for the wrists is turning the palms up. Now don't put any weight into the hands to start with, so you're on your knees. So you're turning the palms up. This is plantar flexion. So this is quite intense. So slowly start to add as much weight as you feel comfortable with. If you've had any wrist injuries in the past, they might show up or you might feel them now. So work in that space that's comfortable for you. Don't overdo it. We don't want to ruin our practice straight away. So if you can, put a little bit more weight into the hands, into the wrists. Hold it here just for another few seconds. And slowly take the weight off the wrist, give the hands a shake out. So clasping the hands together, I'm just going to take a block so I can sit on my heels. Those of you that know me, I have arthritis in my knees, so I have to take care sitting on my heels completely. So I'm just taking the weight off, okay, creating a little bit of space. So if any time you want to sit on your heels and you don't feel that's good for your knees, or your legs are a little bit tight, just take a block between the buttocks and the tops of the heels. So clasp the hands together. That's just a little bit of extra information. Clasp the hands together. And then we're going to start to rotate the wrists. So see if you can make a figure of 8. Figure of 8 with the wrists. It's quite tricky actually. So just check your hands, that you're drawing a figure of 8 with the hands, and then change direction. You might find one direction is way easier than the other. Oddly enough, it's the opposite way to which I draw. And just keep going with that. So clasping the hands nice and firmly together. Just getting into all of these edges, these corners, if you like, of the rotations and the movements. Next thing, puppy dog pose onto spider fingers. Puppy dog pose is where we take our hips over our knees and we keep that position of the legs. Spider fingers, we're going to walk the fingers forwards. So the chest starts to drop to the floor. Now you might get to this position and you think, actually, that's enough. Or you keep walking the hands forwards and slowly over time, starting to drop the forehead maybe down to the floor. So we're trying to reach the armpits, drawing the armpits down to the floor, but keeping the arms elevated. Scoop and lift navel to spine. Just keeping that support in the lower back. For some people, they can look towards the hands, draw the chin down to the floor. Just take care, be careful with the neck. Let's hold it here for another 3 breaths. Slowly releasing the hands down, just release the spider fingers and enjoy the forearms touching onto the mat, onto the floor. Big breath in, walking the hands a little bit in so you can push into the hands. Just shaking the shoulders out. Next action, shoulder protractions. So these may be your wings, scapula, shoulder blades. So coming up onto all fours. So hips over knees, hands under your shoulders, spread the fingers wide, pointed fingers facing forwards. So watch this. So I'm pushing away with my shoulders and I'm driving and doming my upper back, that space between the shoulder blades. So essentially my shoulder blades are drawing apart and my back is pushing up and my shoulder blades are pushing down towards the floor. I'm scooping and lifting up into my belly. It's a little bit like the action we take when we take our cat. So contract and push up is a compression, and then release and feel the shoulder blades kind of squeeze towards each other. Push away and release down. Push away. Exhaling. Inhale, release. Exhale, push up. So this is something you're going to need to do when you're in your actual handstand. So these actions of the shoulders are really, really important. So as you push, protract, you feel that engagement of the upper body. It feels really strong and your hands really feel like they're glued to the floor. Let's do another 5. So exhale, push. If you're in your handstand now, you'd be pushing into the floor with your hands. Engaging fully into the shoulders. Not dumping into the shoulder joints like this. Push away. Take another 2. And release. Give your hands a shake out. That's really, really important. Going to do that in a plank now. So this is going to be a little bit harder. So setting yourself up into plank, tuck the toes. Squeeze and lift navel to spine, fully engage the thighs, the glutes. If I was to come and try and nudge you, you wouldn't be moving. So put shoulder protractions in plank, even harder. Got a bit more weight now in the hands. So if you feel yourself dump into the shoulder blades, push away, protract, release, push, release, push, release, push, release. One more, push, release, drop to the knees. Because this is a little bit harder, we're going to split this set. So shake out to the shoulders, clasp hands behind the back, reach arms away. Just an opposite stretch. So we're going to do 5 more of those. Really, really strong. Back into your plank. So, retract, release. Retract, release. Retract, release. Another 2 really strong. Squeeze navel to spine. And drop to the knees. Now, if you found that a little bit too strong, you can always take it down a notch, where you're on your knees, hips forward, so you create that sort of diagonal line with the body from the knees up, so you can. It's not as strong and it's not as definite, because it's good to get your weight over your hands a little bit more. It simulates what we're going to be doing when we do our handstands. We also protract our shoulders when we do any arm supports upside down. So it's something we will be doing when we do our headstand practice and our forearm or elbow stand practice. So those are shoulder protractions. Next exercise, laying down on your bellies. Take your block. You're going to take your block ahead of you so that you can reach your hands and place your hands onto your block. Bring your legs together. What we're going to do are 10 swimmers. So if you imagine that's the height your hands are off the block, and you want to keep our hands that high off the floor. As you start to swim the arms back and bring them alongside the body. Bring them round, touch back to the block. Engage your shoulders, squeeze into the shoulder blades. We're creating back strength here. That's 2. Exhale, 3. Inhale, reach forwards, touch your block. Exhale, 4. Keep the arms there tracking parallel with the floor, that height that we took above the block. 5. Depending on your shoulder mobility, maybe you can bring your hands towards each other. Mine don't come anywhere close. Let's do another 3. Exhale, squeeze. So squeezing the shoulder blades together. Let's take another 2. So keeping the hands parallel to the floor. And 4. Reach forwards, take your hands onto the block. And enjoy a stretch. Send your armpits down to the floor. It's like a little puppy dog pose with the hands off the floor. Just a couple of breaths. Walk your hands in. So those are our swimmers, just getting some rotation into the shoulder joints, into some neck rolls. So coming back up, sit on your heels, or sit on a cushion, your choice. So the neck rolls. What we're going to be doing is reaching one arm away. So say left arm, you push into that hand. So you're trying to push into the floor. As you take your head over to the other side, so feel a lovely stretch down the side of the neck. If it feels okay for you, gently take your other hand, your right hand, into the side of the head and just apply a little bit of pressure, only a little bit. Keep pushing the left hand away. So keeping the body nice and upright, nice straight spine, keep the belly engaged, keep the core engaged. Nice strong breaths. Let's hold it here for another 5 breaths. And release. Pushing the other hand away. start to send the hand and the head in opposite directions. So it's like you're trying to send your ear down towards your shoulder without reaching the shoulder up. So the shoulders remain level. Just dropping the head down towards the side. Reach actively with the arm in the opposite direction, hand in opposite direction. So feel a really strong stretch all the way up the side of the neck. Apply that little bit of pressure with the other hand, just gently, just to intensify the stretch. Only if it works for you. So listen to the feedback of the body. Another 5 deep breaths. Push the hand away a little bit more, maybe a little tiny, tiny, tiny fraction more pressure on the side of the head. Big breath in, slowly release. Just nodding the head down towards the chest. And then looking up to the left shoulder. Head down. Look to the right shoulder. Head down. So just taking the head through a half circle. Just keep moving like that. Just a few more. And then back to center. Lifting head up, give the shoulders work, because there's a lot of tension that occurs in the neck. As we're pushing in, all of these muscles are connected. The shoulder is connected to the neck. There's like 20-something muscles controlling the shoulders. And of course, the shoulders are in control of the arms. And the arms and the hands are taking all the weight of your entire body with control, keeping it straight, keeping it upright, keeping it aligned. So imagine the amount of tension that can occur in the neck. So we just want to make sure we've stretched out the head. Okay, so that's your neck rolls. So coming into Balasana, child's pose now. We're going to reach the hands behind us, clasp the hands together, palms together. Drop the head down to the floor. Allow the belly to land on the thighs and start to lift the arms away. Let's hold it here for another 5 long breaths. Lift the arms a little bit more. Last big breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Shoulders a little bit of a roll. Into some low lunges. So we're working our way down the body. We need to work into the hips now. Because the legs, they've got to align, they've got to be controlled. You know, they need to be able to switch on, need to kick up safely, moving safely from the floor, standing upright on your hands. So a lot of stability has to occur in the hips as well. So lunges, stepping 1 foot forward, you can pick a side, either side. We're going to start to hinge into these hip flexors. So I'm going to turn around the other way actually, so you can see. So working into your hip flexors on the left side. So using your hands on the floor, or you can take your blocks. Grab your blocks if you want to, just to push the hands into you. So extending and lengthening the front leg, working into that left hip flexor, that's the one I'm picking. And then hold it here. And then what I'd like you to do is come up a little bit and squeeze. Imagine you're trying to pull your knee to the other foot. It's like you're trying to slide the foot and the knee towards each other. Squeeze it in. Contraction, contract, 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 and then release down. Do that again. So lift a little bit and then squeeze. It's like you're trying to pull the knee towards the foot. Really strong engagement around the hip area, into all of those flexors, extensors, into the glutes, and then release down. Feel a little bit more of a release when you come down, a little bit more of a stretch. Let's do one more of those. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then see if you can find a little bit more range of movement. Then coming into a half split. So sliding that front forward a little, foot forward a little bit more. Flex into the foot. Take a breath in, lift and lengthen the spine. And then hinging from your hip creases, folding over your front leg. So the belly lands onto the thigh. If you want to take your hands off the blocks, if you feel quite flexible today, you can walk your hands forward, spider finger the hands. So taking a nice deep stretch into your hamstring. Two more breaths, and then we move over onto the other side. Slowly walking the hands in, use your blocks. Step the front foot back and exchange the legs. So other leg forward. So first of all, let's work into those deep lunges. So just working into the lunge. Push into your blocks. A little like straighten at the front leg. Sink a little bit deeper. Do a few of those. And then we'll stay. And then come up a little bit and squeeze and pull as it's not actually moving, the knee and the front foot towards each other. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then sink down into the hip flexors. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We're going to do two more. And then sink down. And again, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Contract, contract, contract. And then release down. See if you can just sink a little bit lower into that hip flexor on the right side, or whichever side you have back. And then coming into our hamstring stretch. So using your blocks, that feels good. Lift and lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold over your front leg, flex your foot towards you. And if you did it on the other side, then just to balance things out, if you reach your hands forwards onto your little spider fingers, lift and lengthen, fold over your front leg. So making the breathing nice and steady and even just helps you hold these poses, hold these deep stretches. It's on the exhale that you can feel yourself relaxing into it as your brain and body signal each other. The brain telling the muscles, oh, it's okay, you can stretch a bit more, you're not hurting yourself, it's okay, it's okay. So these are the muscle spindles, and there's those messages that are really relaying back and forth between the brain and the muscle spindles. So we mustn't jump into these stretches fast. You've got to work into them slowly, and then the brain lets us relax into them when it sends the signals back. So it's kind of like a little bit of brain to muscle control there. So the control center allowing us just to relax into those muscles and stretch out a little bit more. So that was our low lunges and our half splits. So now we come into Janu Shirshasana, which is when one leg is extended and the other foot is inside. Now working a little bit more into the hips, I'd like you to take a block or a cushion if you don't have a block. Sit myself back a little bit more so you can actually see. I don't think I'm completely in shot. So turning your block maybe on its long side, because you're going to use that as a little hurdle for the foot. So taking the hands alongside the body just to create a little bit of support. You're going to point your foot. Bring your right foot in towards the thigh. What we're going to be doing is lifting the leg and tapping up and over. So those little rainbow legs that we do. So we're going to do 10 of these. Okay? So 1, Squeeze into the thigh. 2, 3, woo, 4, I can feel this already. 5, 6, 7, feel it. 8, 9, nice and controlled. 10. Give that leg a shake out. So that's going to really create some control and strength between the leg and the hip flexor. Other side, point to toe, nice and straight. You can have your hands onto the floor if you feel you need it. And we begin with 10. So it's 1, 2, nice and controlled. 3, keep that leg nice and extended. 4, point to toe. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew, can feel that. Okay, give the legs a little shake out. And into lower leg circles. So roll onto your backs. We're nearly done with a warm-up. Then we go into a dynamic phase, then a strength phase, then some wall drills, and then some handstand drills. So lots to do still. So laying on your backs, roll yourself down. Assist yourself with your hands behind the knees, roll down nice and carefully. Extend one leg. Bring the other leg up at a 90-degree angle. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep the upper leg, this part of the leg, static, kind of in position to a degree, and then working through some rotations of the lower leg in both directions. Let's take 5 in each. Then holding onto the shin or the calf, going to rotate the foot 5 times each direction. So it's just working into the ankle joints and then switch sides. So holding onto the thigh, you rotating mainly with the lower leg. And then the other way. Feels a little bit unusual, this one. And then holding the calf, and then we're just moving the ankle. So this is understanding our body in space, proprioception. And this is extremely important in a handstand, because you need to understand the whole of the body from head to toe, fingertips to toes, in space, where it is, how it is, because you're upside down. It's not how we normally are. So lots and lots of body awareness needed. So that is your warm-up of your joints done. Take a quick sip of water. We're going to move into the dynamic phase. This is going to be a little bit more energetic. Well, first of all, we're going to be doing plank, walk, feet to hands. So, starting in a plank, nice strong plank. We're going to walk your hands. Sorry, we're going to walk your feet. Walk your feet to your hands as far up as you can, pushing into your hands. Walk back to plank. That's 1. Join me. I'll take this as 1, as you probably watched the last one. So the hands don't move, just the feet. You can speed it up a little bit. That's 2. 3. So keep the hands completely glued to the floor. Keep some weight in them. 5, 6, compression into the hands, scoop the belly up, scoop, 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 7, hard, yep, 8, 9, last one, 10. So those are walking plank, hands, feet to hands. Okay, so that's 10 of those. Now the next exercise, down dog, hop feet up to hands into kind of like a yogi squat. So for this, starting in downward facing dog, let me first demonstrate. Gonna look to your hands and take a little bend in the knees, just a little bend. You're gonna hop your feet forwards to your hands like you're about to take a yogi squat. Step the feet back. Downward facing dog, little bend in the knees, look to the hands, lightly hop the feet forwards. So this kind of action is something that relates to our handstand when we do some hop-ups. So let's begin. We're going to do 10 of those. So downward facing dog, little bend in the knees, look forwards, keep the hips high, little bend, hop. That's 1. Hips high, 2. Scoop the belly up, lift, lift, lift. 3. 4. So using those hands like feet, really claw into the earth with those hands. Really feel the fingertips gluing into the ground. 5. 6. Don't have to get too high. 7. Silent landing, nice and softly. Use your hands. Remember any arm balances like crow. 2 more. We have to really glue the hands into the floor. 1 more. And if you want to, take a little yogi squat. Hold it here for a few breaths. Okay, so those were our down dog hop feet. Hop the feet up to hands into the squat. Okay, pike lifts. We are going to start on all fours. You might have done these in one of my yoga classes before. We're going to keep on the tops of the feet. Take the hands as close to alongside their knees as you can. I'm going to demonstrate the movement. If you have to take the hands further forwards, then do so, but have a go with it, with the hands very close to where the knees are. Hands are therefore a hip distance apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push into my hands and lift my feet off. Lift my hips off with my feet. I'm rolling down onto the tops of my feet. So as you can see, my toes are curling underneath. However, that might be something that's just not available to you. Tuck your toes if you have to tuck your toes. So that would look like this. Drop the knees. Exhale, lift. So drawing your head between your arms, push those hips up high. So you're coming into a really steep inverted V, a pike. So we're going to do 10 of those. Now your choice. Oops, somebody's at the door. Hold on a second. It might be a delivery. I'll be back with you. Got it? Hi. Somebody will come down for that.
Sorry?
Oh, it's okay. I'm just teaching I'm teaching a class at the moment. That's okay. Yeah, you got it. Cheers. So that's my lovely regular DPD guy delivering some Arbonne products. So into those pike lifts. So your choice to have yourself on tops of your feet or tucking the toes. I'm going to go with the on top of the feet option. So I'm going for 10. Big breath in. Exhale. Drive the hips up. Push into the hands. That's 1.
Good.
2. 3. Keep those hands as close to the knees as possible. 4. 5. 5 more to go. Take a couple of breaths. Just take a little pause halfway. 6. Scoop the belly up. 7. 8. 9. Last one. Everybody tuck the toes and then hold it up. 10. Walk the toes a little bit closer. Scoop the belly up. It's like from here. Bring your weight forward into your hands. You can imagine the feeling now of being upside down. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend into the knees. Oh, that's quite intense. Give the hands a shake out. So there's a pike lift. They really demonstrate the first phase of a handstand. So from a pike, you're getting your hips nice and high. That's where from there, you kind of simulate that position. That's where you go to kick the legs up. So these are all drills prepping us, getting that feeling in the body, squeezing and lifting, squeezing to the belly, getting the hips up high and bringing the weight into the hands. Take a quick sip of water. So that's our dynamic phase. Into some strength phase drills, starting with a plank, then into a hollow hold, and then into a tuck hold. So for this, I'm just going to get my timer on my watch. I just need a little timer here because we're going to hold each position for 20 seconds. So I just need to set my watch. So we've got 3 intervals and 20 seconds hold with no rest. So there's no rest in between. Okay, so are you ready? So starting with a plank, you're going to hold a plank. Then you're going to come into a hollow. I'll just show you what a hollow is. Something which is a bit like Ardha Navasana. It's where you're pushing your lower back into the floor. There are 2 steps. We'll start with the legs bent. They're a little bit beyond a 90 degrees. And you hold your arms like this. That's step 1. Step 2, reach the arms back. Step 3, extend the legs. Driving the lower back into the floor, squeezing into the belly. So this is your hollow. That is very, very close to how it feels, the tension in the body when you're upside down in a nice straight handstand. It's really, really important that you understand engaging and tucking and keeping the hips aligned with the torso. So really, really good practice. So off we go. We're going to do 3 sets of plank, hollow, tuck, hold, plank, hollow, tuck, hold. And the tuck would be this one. So that would be your tuck, hold. We're going to hold it like that for those 20 seconds. So plank, hollow, tuck, hold, 20, 20, 20. No break in between, so switch straight over. We're going to do that 3 times. So first of all, get yourself into a plank. So if you need to go onto the knees, then go onto the knees. Otherwise, full plank. So strong plank, own that space between the shoulder blades. So you're protracting the shoulders away from each other. So you're not dumping into the shoulders. Protract, squeeze and lift, hold. Squeeze into the thighs. We've got 20 seconds. Breathe. Push into the heels of the hands. Looking down to the floor, nice long neck. Squeeze and lift, able to spine. Give it a lift up. Squeeze into the thighs. You need to get used to this contraction of the body into your hollow. So flip yourself over. First phase hollow. So you're pushing the lower back into the floor, contracting into the stomach. Look to your knees. Shoulders are slightly lifted off the floor. 3, 2, 1. Flip yourself over into that tuck hold position. So lift the hips up. So from here, it's be like you are going to kick up into a handstand on your tippy toes. Weight into the hands. Push into the heels of the hands. Lift into the belly. Scoop, scoop, scoop. 3, 2, 1. Come down. Give your hands a shake. We're going to do that again. Couple of breaths for 15 seconds. We're going to back into plank, then into the hollow, then into the tuck hold. Are you ready? Get ready for your plank in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Protract the shoulders, squeeze into the belly. Lift, lift, lift. Drive the heels of the hands, squeeze into the thighs, into the glutes. Looking slightly forward with the hands. So imagine you created an equilateral triangle. Hands to the point at which your gaze is landing on the floor. 3, 2, 1. Drop to the knees. Flip yourselves over. Straight away into that hollow hold. Let's go for the one with the arms reaching alongside the ears. Squeeze into the belly. Drive the lower back into the floor. Shoulders lifted. Little shake happening. That's okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll yourselves up. Come straight into that pike hold. Tuck the toes. We'll do it onto the toes. Head between the arms. Scoop the belly up. Super light. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Drop to the knees. A little 15, 20 second break. We'll do that one more time. Shake out into the wrists. Little squeeze. Compression into the wrist joints. Ready? Going to go back into that plank. Nice and strong. Track the shoulders. Off we go. Feel pushing into the earth with those hands. Scoop and lift the belly. Don't let the belly drop. Navel to spine. Squeeze into the glutes, into the thighs. Everything strong. Everything switched on. Breathing. 3, 2, 1. Drop to the knees. Flip over. Climbing into that full hollow this time. Have a go. So pushing the lower back into the floor. Extend the legs. Extend the arms. Alongside the ears. Point the toes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Into the pike hold. Lifting up. Last time. Squeeze into the thighs. Pull the thighs upwards. On the tips of the toes. Nice weight is into the hands. Arms between, head between the arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Take a quick sip of water. So those were your strength phase drills. Over to the wall. Timing looks good. Got another 15 minutes and we can definitely get in the next phases. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate what those are. So I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit so it's facing the wall so you can see me a little bit more clearly. So these are called goalposts. So I'm going to lean against the wall, take your feet away from the wall a little bit. Imagine your arms are goalposts. So this is going to be an exploration of your shoulder mobility. You might be surprised, it might be really easy, or it might be extremely difficult. And you might think, wow, I had no idea that my shoulders couldn't move that way. So work with me. So imagine you're trying to push your lower back into the wall. So a bit like that hollow. And then you're going to take your arms. See what happens? As soon as I lift my arms, my ribs try to flare. and I lose the connection with my lower back. So trying to find a middle ground. Now I cannot get my hands right back without lifting my buttocks, and so this is what happens with me. So I do not have a huge amount of mobility in my shoulders, as it turns out. So find some middle ground where you can push your lower back, push your back ribs into the wall, really strong, and try to bring your hands back to the wall, because we're going to be holding it there. We're going to hold it for 30 seconds. So I'm just going to put my timer on. Now, if you find this really easy, which I don't, maybe you do, you can begin to lift the arms up a little bit higher. So over the weeks, you will find, if you find this difficult now, that you'll find more openness into the shoulders, mobility into the shoulders, and you get that lovely connection. Because this is also part of a handstand. It's very much that connection that you need to get a nice upright, strong torso alignment in your handstand. So 30 seconds on the clock. Just move over a little bit. So pushing the back ribs into the wall. I almost need somebody here with me to push my hands. Now, if they could probably get my hands to touch the wall. I can only get my fingertips. So really work on pushing the back against the wall whilst keeping the connection with the hands. Another 10 seconds. Tuck. Drive the lower back into the wall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's ridiculously hard, I find. So that's your goalpost arms. Next, wall dog. So imagine a downward facing dog, but against the wall. So a little bit of a wall reach. So I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds. So feel that lovely space opening up into the shoulders. A little bit of an opposite reach of the spine. Let's hold it here for another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very similar to the feeling of the puppy dog pose. Squeeze into the belly, arch the spine the other way, and then release. So next one, rocking dishes. So we're going to go back to laying on the floor and creating that hollow position. Move this round again, just for a moment. So back to our hollow, extended hollow that is. But if you need to bend into the knees, then bend into the knees. What we're going to be doing is rocking 10 of these. So keeping the arms alongside the ears, using the legs. So you're tilting backwards and forwards, rocking on the lower back here, keeping as much of a connection of the lower back into the floor. This is definitely something that gymnasts do, because gymnasts are brilliant at handstands. So we're going to take a leaf from there, but a quick sip of water. Not being a gymnast, I've had to learn this. I'm still learning. So rocking dishes, we're going to take 10 of those. Then we're going to do some of those pike sliders, 10 of those with these. And then we're going to do a few handstands. So we're getting our bodies completely ready. So bring your arms alongside your ears. Reach the arms away. Lift the shoulders off the mat. Lift the legs. Start to rock your dish. That's 1, 2, 3. Squeeze into the belly. 4. Keeping a similar shape for the entire action. 5, 6. Exhale as you come up. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if like me, you do have a bit of a curved lower back, your rocking dish is going to go clunk, clunk. Mine does not roll like a nice rolling dish. It's more of a clunk, clunk, clunk. But I'm working on it. If you find that's the case, bend the knees and roll. You can get a bit better roll if your legs are bent in, because you can drive the lower back in and tilt the pelvis a little bit better. But if you can, try to work with the legs extended. So those are rocking dishes. Grab your sliding equipment next. Maybe take some Pike Sliders. So you might have noticed there's a lot of emphasis working on hips and core connection. Really important. Because the legs are connected to the torso. I mean, you really need to be able to control the legs connection with the torso, and that occurs in the hip flexors. So we really need to work on these babies to make them strong. So Pike Sliders, 2 options. You can do 5 with the knees bent, and then 5 with the legs straight, or do 10 with the legs bent, or 10 with the legs straight. I'm going to do 5 of each. They look like this. So starting with a plank, but with the hand weight into the hands, we're going to slide the knees in towards the backs of the elbows. That's 1. 2. 3. Move with me. Lifting the hips. 4. So try to get into that pike position. 5. So if you, like me, you're feeling these thighs into the hips connecting. Let's try and do it with a straighter leg, or you can do it with the hips bent. Now, if you want to, you can take your hands onto some blocks. If you take your hands onto the blocks, it just gives you a little bit more space for your legs to arrive. So if you're doing it with the straight legs, it would be looking like this. So that's 1. Slide the hips back. Exhale. Slide the hips in. Feet in. Nice and controlled. Slide them back. Squeeze into the belly. Lift the hips high as they can. That's 4. Let's do 10 like this if possible. 5. Let's do another 5. Exhale. Pull those feet in. Another 3. 4. Last one. 5. So really compressing and squeezing. Really brings your heart rate up. Okay. Last little bit. Over to your wall. Last 5 minutes. I'm going to do a couple of kick-ups. So we're going to start with 10 kick-up, 1 leg, 10 times, as high as you can, but you don't have to touch the wall. You can be away from the wall if you want to feel what it's like to kick up in space. So I'm just going to show you. Hands onto the floor. Standing leg, one side, probably the non-dominant side. Try it out with your dominant leg first, which is going to be your kicking leg. So, take a big breath in. Plant the hands. We're not going to throw ourselves at this. We're going to bring the hands down. And you're just simply going to push from your non-dominant leg and kick up 1 leg and land back on the same leg. So that's 1. 2. Just a little kick up. Doesn't have to go completely the whole way up. I'm going to do 10. 3. That one was a little less high. Squeeze and lift into the belly. Push into the heels of the hands. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Got a little bit more height there. So you can keep your hands on the floor if you want to, or you can replace them each time. I think got 2 more to go this side. So the hands shoulder distance apart, fingers spread wide. That's 9, 1 more. Squeeze and lift the belly, push into the fingertips. Look between your hands. That's 10. Over to the other side. So non-dominant leg this time. See and feel the difference. It's likely that you're not going to do many handstands kicking up with the other leg, but it's good to balance out and see how the other side feels. So let's kick up and land, same leg, non-dominant side. 1, 2, 3, point the toes. I would get a lot of marks if I was in a gymnastics competition otherwise. I think that's 4. I haven't touched the wall yet because I'm quite far away. Try not to use the wall if I can. Another 5. So plant those hands firmly, use the fingertips. 6. 7. So I'm not trying to straighten and bring the other leg up, just kicking one leg up. Let's do another 3. Oh, touch the wall. 4. I think I've got another 1 to go. Was that 5? I can't remember how many done. I'll do a couple more. Lost count completely. 1. 2. 3. 2 more, and then I've done my 10, I think. So when you're practicing on your own, do as many of these as you feel you want to. But my heart rate's definitely lifting. Last one. Oh, 10. Okay. Take a quick breath. Next one, we're going to do 10 switch legs. If you're up for it, I'll just show you what I mean. So you're going to kick up with your dominant leg, switch over and land on the other side. So it looks like this. So up, switch, and down. Up, switch, and down. Okay? So we're going to do 10 of those. Glue those hands to the floor, squeeze and lift the belly, retract into the shoulder blades. We're really strong into the shoulders. Don't sink into the shoulders. Push away with the hands into the ground. Nice and strong. Doing 10. So kicking up with your preferred leg. Switch over and then landing back down. Oops. Touch the wall. It's okay, the wall's there just to help. Did a double switch there. So that was 4. Squeeze and lift the belly. Okay, so pushing into your non-dominant leg, that's the propelling leg as you kick up. Switch and down. Another 5. I haven't done these for probably about 6 months, so I'm feeling it with you. Okay, we've got another 5. That's 1. 2. Feeling a little bit tired now. 3. 2 more. 4. Last one, try and land as gracefully and softly as you can. Last one. 5. So we're just kicking up. We're not trying to get completely into the handstand. We're resisting that last little bit just to feel the weight into our hands and getting our legs up. So that is your handstand practice for today, lesson number 1. Let's go back onto the floor and just do a little cool down. Woo. So onto your heels, to your knees, just roll the shoulders, spread the arms wide, give yourselves a hug in, chin to chest. Wrap the arms the other way. Then taking one arm across the body, pull the arm in, just to get a stretch across the shoulder blades behind. And the other arm. A little tricep stretch, why not? The other arm. Give the arms a shake out, shoulder rolls. A little roll into the wrists. So that was lesson number 1, guys. Well, I advise you to do that another 2 times this week. And then next Tuesday, we'll just change that a little bit, that set of drills. There'll be similar things. We will increase the amount of time that we do the plank hollows, and we'll increase some of the pikes. So we'll just ramp it up a little bit. That's why it's important to do it another 2 times, so that you've really exercised all of these parts of the body already. So do at least twice more between now and next Tuesday when you can. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Maybe yoga tomorrow at 7:30. So thanks so much. Subscribe to my channel, and if you want to subscribe to me, because from tomorrow my classes are no longer public, they will become unlisted. If you need to message me, you can send me a message at sarahventer@gmail.com. That's my email address, and I hope to hear from you. So welcome, and tomorrow, 1st of July. Thanks so much. Bye.